Hello dear tea friends from around the world, welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler. I'm the founder of the Tea Masters blog and also of the tea-masters.com tea boutique. Welcome to a new tea class about Yixing teapots. Today we are we're making a class about the spout. So this little portion, it's a very small portion of the teapot, but it is really essential because that's where the tea is coming out. I'm going to use all these 8 tea pots. They are all from my selection that you find on tea-masters.com under the teaware and the Yixing section. And so today we want to discuss about the different spouts, because we have some that are straight, some that are curved, some that are short, some that are long. So all kinds of spouts. We want to see a bit more clearer about it, what is function and how we can use this spout to solve also some problems. So I hope that it's going to be an interesting lesson, and also I'm going to demonstrate to you how each of these spout is pouring, and especially each of these teapots. So you can see how these teapots pour, because I've noticed a couple of months ago there was one guy who made a video with different teapots and pouring, and from this it seemed like the main function of a teapot is pouring, and how well a teapot pours was very high in the list of qualities that a teapot had for this person. My view is that, of course, it's nice if there's a nice pour, if the flow comes out clean and graceful and flows very nicely into the cup. However, still, what is the most important is the reaction between the tea and the clay. Does the tea brew interact well with the clay, that it makes the tea taste better, taste smoother, taste more harmonious? Or does clay interact with the tea in such a way that it makes the scents fade away, that it takes away from the power of the tea? So of course then this is not good. So it's better to have a poor and a good tasting tea than a very beautiful pour and a bad tasting tea. So this still I think is important to keep in mind when we examine the pour, that the pour is one aesthetic notion, but it is really not the essential one. If you are able to get a teapot that has an excellent clay and that makes very good tea, I've seen masters use even broken spouts, using very old teapots with a broken spout, and because of the quality of the clay, the tea comes so nicely out of this teapot that you actually forget about the broken spout. Of course, with newer teapot we have higher standards, but this is already a first introduction on what is the ranking that this clean flow from the spout should have. Still, clay is number one, and maybe flow is comes later. However, it is interesting to notice that there is such a variety of shapes for the spout, and if the shape of the body is sometimes a little bit more flat, sometimes a little bit more tall, or very elongated, what really makes the design from a teapot is the spout. This little piece is really important. It can often be replaced from one teapot to another. You will have a different shape of spout. Like this standard shaping teapot has a very straight spout, but we can also see this teapot has a very similar shape, just this one has a pigeon neck shape for the spout, and it does give a different look to the teapot. So I've just mentioned a very technical term, shaping, water balanced. It has actually two meanings. The first meaning is that there should be an alignment between the height of the spout, the height of the body, and the highest point of the handle. If you take a ruler, this should be a straight line between these 3 points. That's a straight line. Why should the spout be at the same height as the body? Because if it's too low, you are not able to fill your teapot to the top. It will start to leak from the spout. If it's higher than the body, then there would be one portion of the spout that would remain always empty, even when you fill your teapot to the maximum. And so this actually has even a technical advantage when you are able to see the level of the water in the teapot by when you fill it to the top, by looking at the level of the water at the spout. So sometimes you will see that the water level changes as the water is absorbed by the leaves in the teapot, and this tells you, sometimes gives you a hint when the tea is ready or not. Basically, when the leaves absorb some of the tea and the level goes down, this is a good time to pour. But shaping also means another thing. It is when you put more water in a basin, and then you put your teapot in the water, with or without the lid on. Better is more difficult is with the lid on. If the teapot still floats on the water, then it means shaping, which means it's water balanced. This is difficult to achieve because it means that the walls of the teapot are of the same thickness all around. Otherwise, if some walls are thicker than the others, it will go on one side and fall down. Also, the lid cannot be too heavy. Otherwise, the lid also is going to make the teapot fall on one side or the other. And the handle and the spout must be of the same weight. Otherwise, one will make the teapot go one way or the other. So this is a quite difficult thing to do, but it was like a standard that had to be achieved to make a teapot of a high quality in the time when teapots were made as a mass-produced item during the monopoly of this company in Factory 1 in Yixing. Nowadays, it is some makers still insist on trying to make it shaping, but it's not always the case anymore, and it's especially the case with this shape called standard shape, because Gujinzo drew this a picture, or drew a picture of this type of shape in order to tell his students and people under him to make this standard teapot in large numbers. Okay, this is so this pigeon. We start with this pigeon neck teapot. This one is interesting. It was made by a mold, and let's pour it in this Siche teapot. We see the pour is a little bit. It's not very straight. It whirls, and it will also change a lot depending if I open or not the lid. So this is one of the tricks I wanted to tell you about. If the water does not come out fast enough, there's one way to accelerate the flow is by pushing the knob to open the lid, and like this there will be more air flowing inside the teapot, and this helps the water to come out at a faster pace. So this is one way to work on the spout. If you feel that the spout is too slow, sometimes it's simply because the lid is too tight and the flow coming from the from this little hole in the knob is not enough to push the air out. So then you open the lid like this. Let's see how the Siche is coming. So the Siche is interesting. It has a very, very short spout, almost no spout at all. That's why it's sometimes also joked that this is a teapot more for eunuchs. And well, let's see how it goes in this one. Here the flow is much nicer, and if I open it, comes out clean. Now we see in the straight spouts, we have in this shripping teapot the opening is towards is horizontal, towards above. It is a bit. It's completely different with this spout from the Julunju. Here, instead of cutting the spout horizontal, it's almost cut vertical or on the side in order to make this spout quite short. But still, there's one general rule: the base is always larger, and it becomes thinner and thinner as we come closer to the end of the spout, in order to concentrate the water so that it will come out and flow more in a more concentrated way. Let's pour it in this teapot now. Now this is seems a bit like the Julunju. It's a bit longer, but it is a little bit crooked, and so the opening is not cut like the Julunju straight, but it's like a bit in between the Julunju and the shripping teapot. Oh, here the flow is particularly beautiful. Despite being crooked, the flow is very straight. Now, this is a very curved spout. It curves on two sides, or it curves twice. First towards, it goes up, and then it goes down. So it's curved on two sides. This type of curve is also called Mejentoe, which means beautiful leg. I'm going to demonstrate it first, and then I will show you why it has this name. Quite a nice flow. Let's empty it first, because I have to show you on the like this. We can see better that the knee would be here and the foot here. So here you have a better idea why it's called a beautiful leg, the knee and the foot below. And it has a nice pour. The opening is quite large, which helps to make the flow of the tea also large and come out faster. A faster and a slower pour will have also an impact on the taste of the tea. If the spout is very thin, and makes a very thin flow, it will take longer for the tea to come out, and this means that the tea will be longer in contact with the water and will brew longer, and this has the effect of making the aftertaste more prevalent, stronger. A tea that comes out very quickly with a very quick pour, so with a larger spout, will more emphasize the higher fragrance. It will be a more fragrant tea. It won't have so much aftertaste. So this is also something that has an impact on the taste or on the flavors of the tea. Now this Longdan teapot has an interesting spout. It is also very quite short, but this one is cut horizontal, and so it means it's going to go up. That's quite cute and very effective, very beautiful. Actually, I should pour in a different teapot. Yeah, we already tried this one. Let's pour in this Juni teapot. And voila. Since we did not fill to the top, I will fill it with this one. And now this spout is yet another shape. It is short but curved. Instead of being curved towards the top, this time it is curved more on the side, and it's almost a vertical cut for the spout. Let's pour it in the small julunju. Very clean and beautiful pour for this teapot. And I think we just need to try with this standard teapot. So now the julunju is, we examined this type of teapot in our previous class about Japanese styled teapots, short and straight. and cut more vertically. Very clean. It only breaks after a higher elevation. So quite good. I add a little bit more water, and we'll try now this standard, small standard teapot. And I'll put it back in this pigeon spout, and this standard does a good job. Very clean. Et voilà. Now this pigeon neck type of spout, we can also see it on my silver, on the Dragon Phoenix silver teapot. It's also pigeon neck type of spout. And so it's actually, it is a quite popular type of spout. We saw that it's not just the shape of the spout that is important, but also how thin the opening of the spout is. This will have really the impact of making the flow very thin and long, or very large and quick. There is another thing we have to mention. This one of the biggest concern for tea brewers is that these spouts sometimes get clogged with tea leaves, or especially with broken leaves. So one way to make sure that this does not happen is to, when you prepare your dry leaves to be brewed, you first can have a look at them. Are there a lot of broken leaves among the leaves that you are going to brew? Sometimes it's less the case when you open a new pack of tea, especially rolled oolongs. They don't have so many broken leaves. But when you come to the end of a pack of Baozhong or Yansha or loose pu'er, you might have lots of broken leaves. So what do? In this case, to avoid clogging the spout, and then it becomes messy, it becomes difficult to unclog it, especially if it's curved, and then even with a little piece of wood, it's difficult to unclog because of the curves. It's easier to unclog if the spout is straight. So how to avoid the clogging of the spout? If you see that there are a lot of broken leaves, try to separate the larger leaves from the broken ones. Put the larger leaves a bit on the side. First, put your broken leaves in the teapot, and only at the end the larger leaves. By having the larger leaves on top, and then when you pour quite slowly, quite carefully the water on the leaves, so that the broken leaves remain at the bottom of the teapot and the whole leaves on top. As the whole leaves unfold, they are going to block these broken leaves and they won't clog your spout. Okay, this I hope will be useful advice for you. Thank you very much for watching. If you're interested in these teapots, go on my section about Yixing teapots. There are lots of beautiful Yixing teapots to choose from. If you wonder how they pour, you can send me an email and I will be glad to answer your questions. Thank you very much for your interest, and I will see you next week for another tea class. Let's see if you have any questions. Elizabeth, hello. Hello, nice to have also Yaku here. Territoad is also here. Graceful spout shape. Love the sound of water. Yes, that's a nice sound. Thank you for the advice, Terry. Very clever solution. Elizabeth writes, yes, useful and always fascinating to hear about such details. Well, thank you very much for your kind words. I'm glad that this lesson was useful to you. Nice to see you today, and I will see you again next week for another T class. Okay, bye bye.